So this is Social Studies 7H3a. I don't have that up there. This is A. And it says, how did nationalism lead to independence in India and Vietnam? I used to have this old history teacher in high school. I can't even remember his name now, but we called him the Walrus because he had a giant mustache that came down like here. And he was an old wrestling coach, and so it was all messed up right here where he had his face crushed in one time. And he was just an odd character. I loved him to death, though. And he would often say, it was an all-boys school, so he'd say, "Gentlemen, nationalism is the most powerful force on the face of the earth. Nationalism." And we would take quizzes every week, and every week there was a question about nationalism. He really believed this. I'm not going to agree with him and say it was the most powerful force on earth, but nationalism has certainly led to some very important changes in the earth. I'll say that, and it's very important, muy importante. So first of all, we got to know what nationalism is before we know how it leads to the independence of both India and Vietnam, and we got to answer independent from what. So this standard is probably going to take 3 or 4 videos. So make sure you understand that this is going to come in parts. And if you want to understand all of it, you're going to have to watch all of the parts one night. And make sure that you understand how each of the parts fit together. So first of all, nationalism. Well, it's a feeling. It's kind of like it's a feeling among a group of people. And the feeling is, or the belief is, that people should be loyal, and this is a big one, should be loyal to those same people who share the same history, the same origins, the same language, and the same religion. Basically, they have culture in common. The people do not necessarily have to be from the same country. In other words, I can be a French nationalist. I can believe very much in French nationalism, and I can be living in America. Well, if that happens, then I'm going to be flying the French flag. I'm going to refuse to speak English. I'm going to speak French all the time. I'm going to sing French songs. I'm going to try to eat French food when I can and do the same religion as they have in France. I'm going to try to be French in America. That does not mean I'm American. It just means I'm a French nationalist. So you have to be careful when you use this word nationalism that you don't just think of people that are in the country that you're talking about. Just because they're in that country doesn't necessarily mean they're nationalists. If that makes any sense at all. I mean, you can be living in a country and not be a nationalist for the country that you live in. I don't know if that's a strong or weak example, but there it is. I gave it to you. Nationalism is very powerful, though, because it unites a bunch of people together. I mean, if we don't agree on religion, maybe we could say, oh, we all want to be of the same country and we want to support this country because we speak the same language and we share the same history. Even though we disagree on religion, we can get together. This is a uniting force. It unites people. People in America are nationalists, or we hope they are. This is like patriotism to the extreme. It's, I'm an American and I love being American. I love everything about America, and I love Americans, and I believe that we're the best. That's nationalism, okay? And nationalism, it takes hold in India and Vietnam about the same time, and it's going to lead to some very radical consequences, as we're going to see in the next part. So this is part 1. Make sure you watch part 2, 3, and 4, and however many parts there are on this one.